Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reliving the Extreme. Just wanted to come on before we start here and let you know we were having a little bit of an internet connection issue during this week's show, so you might hear some fading, and you might hear some of us talking over each other at certain points during the show. So I just want to apologize for that. Still a great show here this week, so let's get started. The episode of ECW that we're watching this week on the network, it is dated January the 7th, 1997, but it's actually from January the 9th, 1997. I don't know why the dates are off, but they are. January.
What date did you get? I mean, where did you get it from?
I actually looked it up because there was something in my notes that I was like, I don't know why I wrote this down. So I went to just find a blog or something of somebody else who had reviewed it at any point on the internet, and I couldn't find anything on January 7th, 97. But I could find ECW Hardcore TV January 9th, 97. So the network, I think, has it dated wrong. This is actually from the 9th. But anyway, it's just a couple days difference.
Blame it on producer Paul from Busted Open, the guy who erased all the music anyway. he already killed. He's really trying to kill ECW even more. He changes all the music to generic crap, and now he puts the wrong dates up.
Well, speaking of generic music, we get the generic Terry Funk Desperado music. Start off this episode where we have a video of Joey Styles narrating the return to ECW of Terry Funk, and then Joey Styles having the audacity to say that Brian Lee is a younger version of Terry Funk.
Where the hell? Yeah, right. Like what? How? Describe to me the comparisons.
They're both white guys.
They both have hair.
They both have hair. Yeah.
Kinda. Terry Funk kinda has hair. Or had hair. But other than that, I didn't see much of a comparison. I think Brian Lee stinks. I just want to get that out of there. I've been waiting to say that. He looks stupid. Like just standing there. When they're announcing him, and it's like he looks dumb. Yeah, he stinks. But the funker music was classic, dude. I don't know what the hell that was. That wasn't supposed to be Desperado. I hope.
Whatever it was. Go ahead, Aaron.
I mean, that's what I'm just saying. That's what they're overdubbing it because it was Desperado. Like they're moving into the Desperado gimmick in ECW, and this was their attempt. It was bad.
Yes, it was. It stunk too. What else do we get on this? Oh, just the Funk video, pretty much too, right?
Yeah, they show the footage of Dreamer and Terry Funk winning Terry's return match, the tag match from I think it was November to Remember. Then we cut to a BWO video.
Oof. Oh, the only note I have on there is why. Why the BWO? Like I already wasn't going into this show with high expectations. Or I wasn't even really wanting to watch it to begin with. And then all of a sudden I get boom blasted right off the bat with the BWO. And I'm like, oh, great. Fucking Stevie.
And the matches that we see here are from the Webster, Massachusetts Town Hall. I thought this was kind of I don't know, it was a weird looking building.
It is a weird looking building.
Like I know that was one of my notes. I was like, this is a weird looking building.
I like when they do buildings like that. I like to go like when they run buildings like that. I like to even when WWF did it back like in the dark times or whatever. I like to look up and see A, is the building still operational, and B, like is there any history to it or whatever. They still use this building, and it was built in like 1925. That's why it looks weird, and like. It was used for like honoring Civil War people and just all this different shit. And I'm like thinking about like in 1925, like people dressed up nice and went to this thing and honored Civil War veterans, and now this is happening.
Fans. Oh yeah, black shirts and beards. What is the dress code for Webster? See, that building's weird because if I remember right, like that balcony doesn't go all the way around. It's kind of like a theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they had that stage.
Yeah, right. So that still had the stage then too, I guess. Because I mean, I haven't been there like since like '94 or '5 or whatever it
Well,
was.
there's a point where they're brawling, and you can actually see like all their equipment and everything set up on the stage, like their TV equipment and everything.
Okay, that's pretty much how I remember it then. All right, I wanted to make sure I had the right place because I texted the judge about it too, and he was like, "You remember that building? It was because it was a dump for a locker room too. I mean, there really it really wasn't a locker room. It was just basically like the ECW arena. It was just whatever was back there was your locker room. You know, there wasn't no like hallway with other rooms in it. It was just back there.
So the match that we get, the first match we get here at the Webster, Massachusetts Town Hall East on television, is it's Axel Rotten and Stevie Richards. The BWO enters the ring from the balcony of this metropolis, or this coliseum that is the Webster Town Hall, and
state of the art arena, circa 1920. All right. Yeah, I was glad that I was actually glad to see Axel was like still on, like because he hasn't really been doing too much. So I kind of popped seeing Axel, and then I popped seeing that Jeff was the referee too.
I think this might be his first time on TV, and I can remember seeing him anyway as a ref.
It might be because that's what jumped out at me. I was like, oh, the judge is on is refereeing. Oh yeah, because he said that was his first. When he texted me back a little while ago, he said that was his first loop. So that must have been his first time he was definitely there. That's cool though.
Is that was that where is was Maryland or Massachusetts where Jeff got his start?
Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like an old childhood friend of mine.
So he worked at some of those same promotions that you did in that area.
He worked everywhere I worked, and in Maryland anyway. Same with like Virginia, all around there. Like, you know what I mean? Because he was really just a referee at first, and then after that, I guess I don't know what he became because for a while I was gone in Maryland, and then he somehow weaseled his way into what I guess you would consider at the office, and the same thing with ECW too. Like he weaseled his way into the office there too, and now he's weaseled his way into AEW. He's the weasel, not Bobby Heenan.
Jeff Jones, the weasel.
He is too. He is a shady dude.
This is the third time that Joey Styles has referred to Stevie Richards wearing coochie cutters.
Yes,
yeah,
he keeps saying it.
I wrote down here. Joey says half shirt and coochie cutters again.
Yes, he's wearing a Stevie Richards and his half shirt and coochie cutters.
He loves the coochie cutters. Well, I mean, was there any real takeaways from this match? Because to me, I bet you like the match was a house show match, you know. To me, it didn't seem like it was. If it would have been the ECW arena, I think they would have just shit on it because it was like nothing going on in the match. So I thought it was taped for. I thought maybe they thought it was just being taped for a band cam or something. You know, I mean, the only thing I got out of it was the low blow spots. You know, so that to me was the dead giveaway for it being just a house show match. But you know, just a trading of the dick jobs, whatever. But it was I guess what they call an okay little match, huh?
Yeah. I didn't find anything like offensive about it. It was just kind of there.
Like you said, it didn't seem like they were going above and beyond to have a stellar TV match. It's almost like they thought they were just fighting the match for the crowd, that was there in Webster, and it wound up on TV anyway. But Stevie wins the match with the Stevie kick. Pretty straightforward there.
Yep, pretty much.
Joey Styles is in, talks about Taz being injured. Taz says that Chris Candido will replace him tonight on the show.
Hang on. The one thing about the finish of the actual Stevie kick was, I don't know. I guess you didn't pay attention to it. Was when Axel took the bump, he didn't pull his shirt down. Like he normally when he gets beat for the finish or any kind of big move, he doesn't want his titties hanging out from underneath the shirt, so he's always pulling his shirt. He always pulls his shirt down. But I was like, oh, he didn't pull his shirt down. So I think he's wearing longer shirts now. He's smartened up.
Longer shirts or higher pants, one of the two.
Yeah, I noticed.
Because it definitely ain't lost weight.
Oh, he's probably starting to begin on the gimmick now. This is like this is probably where it all starts. Where are we at now with you said a Taz or something?
Yeah, this is where Taz says that he is sorry. Taz is injured, so he says Chris Candido is going to replace him.
Well, Taz won't admit that he's injured, though.
Oh yeah, Joey says that Taz. I'm sorry, I got my notes screwed up.
Yeah, they're still doing the whole Joey Styles doing investigative reporting, trying to find out if Taz is actually injured and making sure that he's staying. Now, I'm not saying Taz is injured, but he could possibly be injured. And
why don't he just read the Observer? And all his answers are there. All you gotta do is go and get the Observer, and you're like, yeah, they're still doing the angle where Taz is saying that he's hurt because he has to get neck surgery or something. Else. Yeah, that's an easy fix right there. But wrestlers are stupid. They never know how any of these angles are going to play out because they never watched Old Memphis. Just go back and watch the tapes and see what happened to Jimmy Valiant.
It's like Aaron and I talk about all the time. Like, how did the stupidest? If you're going by storyline wise, the stupidest wrestler in the history of wrestling is Sting, because he's constantly getting fucking turned on.
No, that's Dusty.
I guess Sting took on Dusty's mantle then.
He's gullible.
Because Sting especially during that '95 thing. When they're setting up Sting with Flair feuding with Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman, and Sting's even like Sting even tells Flair in the ring, "I swear to God, if you turn on me, Flair,
I'm gonna beat your ass."
Yeah, baby faces are stupid. You know, you can't trust. You can't even go to the park. Can't go to your car. You can't be caught in the parking lot. You got to have an escort by security just to walk down the hallway to go to catering in these days.
Don't take yourself a tag team partner.
No, you're definitely finished if you decide to form a tag team with anybody. Hell, if you had a Siamese twin, they would fucking turn on you. If you were wrestling together,
Like,
your conjoined twin would turn on.
Why is there even tag team wrestling? Like, you would have thought by like the 70s, somebody would have been like, you know what? None of this ever works out. Like, no.
Well, it was big in Australia, according to Gordon Soley. Tag team wrestling. Australian rules, tag team, whatever that means. That's Australia. Yeah, whatever.
Well, we get a look back here at some of the stuff going on with the Dudley Boys. They show us footage from this show of Bubba versus Devon. Douglas versus Dreamer, the Eliminator. They show us some of a match that seemed like it was pretty good, actually. The Eliminators versus Bubba Dudley and Spike Dudley.
Sign guy Dudley, he was out at ringside. I don't know. I wonder what that, Chad, you might know. He had to have had another job in that company. What else did he do?
Oh, I'm sure it was office. I never had to deal with him, so I'm sure if he was friends with Sign Guy and Gabe, and then he was doing something he was friends with them guys, so he was doing something he was probably in the ring crew too. You know, probably all that shit. Because yeah, he is pretty useless. I mean, seriously, he is. Because he's not a worker.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he might think that he is or claim that he is, but he's not a worker.
Yeah, just because you can take a bump off the apron when somebody clocks you once every couple of shows. That's, you know. But he like I said, the match between the Eliminators and Bubba and Spike, from what we see of it, I thought was actually really good stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Whenever they show a Dudley Boys, any kind of thing with the Dudley Boys or the history of the Dudley Boys or what's going on with the Dudley Boys, I always hope we're gonna get the car segment.
I do.
They never throw it in there. I'm just always hope against hope.
Maybe we should go back and review that show.
Are they in the WWE Hall of Fame yet, Bubba and Devon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Because Bubba's in 2 Hall of Fames.
No, that's too bad. I was going to say their Hall of Fame video should start
With the Benny Hill music.
Parking lot fucking scene, yes.
I thought this match was all right. I liked the because it was, to me, it was kind of cool seeing, like, you never see really Bubba and Spike team up.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool because I know they've been doing the angle where they've been feuding with Devon and all, but they haven't really been it's been like just like either single matches or they just been brawls, but they haven't really been like a tag team like that often, which was a good little change to see Bubba actually working.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Eliminators were over. I wonder how over they were from being in Boston or being right outside of Boston or whatever.
Well, it seemed like they were, and it seemed like the crowd, much like us, was appreciative of this matchup. All 20 people that were there. I'm sorry, maybe 22. Aaron, what did you think of the Dudleys and the Eliminators?
What we saw of it was good. I wish I would have seen a little bit more, but it is what it is.
And it seems like, because we're very, very, very close to Bubba and Devon being a tag team, but it seems like if that wouldn't have happened, Spike and Bubba would have made a good Dudley Boys tag team. Like you said, Chad, we didn't really ever get to see them team very often.
Yeah, it was just, it would have been, sorry, it would have been a little different the way they brought Spike in. It wouldn't have been like, I mean, to me, it wouldn't have been as shocking as the unveil of them having a black brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, so I got a midget for like, you know, I got a little, but then he's a kick-ass monster midget, whatever. But I mean, just the shock of the fact that they bring in a black guy as their brother, I thought was perfect. But we always, like, me and Raven always talked about it too, about all the other Dudleys you can make. You know, I mean, anybody, because if their father was just a traveling tchotchke salesman or whatever he was, you can have all kinds of good Dudleys.
You have an Asian Dudley.
Yeah,
he'd be Dudry. Dudry. Come on, Aaron, give me a Dudley. You're wittier than me.
I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking more about what was coming up next because I thought of something really funny. Well, I think funny on that. But
Pool Boy Dudley. All right. Anyway, up next we have Killer Kowalski, and Aaron said you said you had stuff to say about.
Well, I mean, Kowalski's presenting the Eliminators with the ECW tag team titles. I'm thinking of Killer Kowalski in the ECW locker room.
What do you think?
To me, that would be amazing. Like, whose tits do you think he snorted coke off of? Was it like Lady Alexandra?
Oh, Francine's. Probably Francine's. Because he's cool with Douglas. He probably hung out with Douglas for a little.
He's like, I'll do the cocaine, but I won't eat the hamburger.
Yeah,
strict vegetarian.
I love how they base his reputation on the fact that they always say that he tore off Yukon Eric's ear. That's like the greatest like white whale, and like, you know, it's almost right up there with Stan Hansen breaking Bruno's neck. You know, he didn't really break his neck, especially with the lariat. And Killer Kowalski didn't actually tear the guy's ear off. It was a complete and utter accident.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that Joey Styles talks about Killer Kowalski, and he's like, "This is the guy that beat up my dad's favorite wrestler, Bruno Sammartino, a few years back." A few years back?
30.
Like 30 years in 97. It's like, what the fuck?
When Joey's dad was a kid.
This is the guy that my dad went. This is the guy that my dad went to watch some boring fucking matches with Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go. The third thing I was going to say was, I respect Killer Kowalski, you know, for being a legend and whatever, and the people that he helped train, and just this, that, and the other thing. But my God, that guy was boring. Like, I'd put him in the same level as like a Dory Funk It's like, oh my God, why is this happening? Like, why did anybody enjoy you?
I'm just glad that I wasn't around like younger when he was doing TV matches. Oof.
With your
With
big
the Killer
misshapen,
Kowalski squash matches. Oh,
with your big misshapen head and shitty body and boring matches. It's like, what is going on?
Killer Kowalski. What a jabroni. No chance he's alive, right?
He's dead.
All right, fuck him.
There's that match. There's a clip on YouTube, and a guy puts on Triple H wins the match, and it's like the same night that Killer Kowalski died. And after the match, Triple H like points up and he's like, "This one's for the killer." That's what he says. But the title of the video is Triple H Dave.
Okay, spit it
The
out.
title of the video is Triple H dedicates his match to Chris Benoit. This one's for the killer.
No shit.
But I just like I said, I never got it with Killer Kowalski. I can look at some of those other guys back in that time where I'm just like, well, even though I see them, I can still understand why people thought they were good or whatever. But I don't get that one.
No, I don't get it either. And it's just like when they say all the great people that came out of his wrestling school and stuff, and it reminds me of like all the people that came out of Harley Race's wrestling school. When you ever see like any old clips of Harley Race like at ringside at school, he's in a wheelchair or he's in a walker. like these guys are coming out of your school, but this is the condition that you're in while you're supposed to be training these fucking guys. Like I bet you like fucking Kowalski was in the ring with like Hunter. You know what I mean? In like 91, Kowalski's like 78 there. And he still bet you he's in the ring rolling around with like Hunter and shit.
Yeah, those guys being trained by Harley Race means that somebody employed by Harley Race trained them while Harley Race was sitting in a wheelchair smoking a cigarette watching them.
I can just imagine because even when I at my level, even when I train people, I would never train anybody from start. Like or anybody that I liked, anybody that I saw that had any potential. Like after I watched them learn the bumps and run the ropes and stuff, like that's what I would train them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not doing the bumps because I gotta do them first. You know what I mean? I gotta take the bumps and show you how to do it. I ain't taking no bumps. I ain't taking a bump in years. And so screw all that shit. But once I see like you have potential, then that's when I work with you. When you're ready to have matches, and even again, how good could they be if Kowalski got in the ring and had matches with him? At his age, how could they be good?
Yeah.
Anybody coming out of his
a lot of
So
those
it's like-
trainers,
It's
a
like
lot
what
of
did-
trainers
what
are
did
like
you-
that. They're like sorry, like it's that. I think it was JBL was on the commentary that when the guy that said it was like when Michael Cole said Bryan Danielson was trained by Shawn Michaels, and JBL was like, no, he wasn't. Daniel Bryan gave Shawn Michaels $2,000. William Regal trained Daniel Bryan. Like shut the fuck up. But yeah, I don't know.
I bet you there's a possibility that I could see Michaels like in the ring with Daniels, like probably in the same situation that I described. Like, he wasn't training them from scratch, from nothing. But that'd be a hell of a way to be trained though, if once you learn how to bump it, and the guy is showing you how to like learn the ropes is not me, it's Shawn Michaels. Because I mean my record speaks for itself of everybody that I trained. They're either sexual predators, convicted felons. Grace. I mean, look at who are my top three. Velveteen Dream, Leo Rush. Well, I mean, Shane Shamrock never made it, but he committed suicide by police. So I have a history. Anybody that comes to the Chad Austin School of Wrestling better have a record.
You got a hell of a rap sheet there, Austin.
I know. And the ones that I did train that did something with their life and became Hall of Famers, when they gave their Hall of Fame speech, they didn't thank me. They thanked Dan McDevitt from MCW. Like I was popping huge when I saw Lita got on for her Hall of Fame thing. I'm like, oh my God, Lita's gonna like. She's talking about being trained. That's gonna put me over. Oh, I want to thank Dan McDevitt. I'm like, motherfucker, Dan McDevitt never. He Harley race trained you. he stood there. He took your money. Why? I'm the one that's in there training you.
You didn't train Hard Body Harrison, did you?
No, I don't think so. But I mean, there's a good chance why, because he's got a record too, right? Or isn't he
Well,
dead?
he's got a huge record. He like they had to put they almost put him under the prison. Like
A special room. No, I don't think I trained him. Oh, dude, I also helped train Max Muscle. He's got off like he got busted for like what, steroids or whatever.
That would be a fun thing too. We're gonna watch like an AEW Dynamite every once in a while. We just bust out a couple criminal wrestlers and look at what the fuck they did. That would be fun.
Right. The next segment on this show is Joel Gertner and
TV.
The Gertner special.
Yes.
My mom's favorite wrestler, or favorite guy in wrestling. She wasn't even in the room today for this one. I didn't even feel like yelling at her because I didn't think this was going to be a promo anyway. I thought it was just going to be something really short.
Yeah, we start with Gertner doing his introduction, and he's
still a honeydew. He's still a honeydew melon on the plate of life.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's got now he's so over. He's got his meal massacre spots. That he's just gonna. I'm getting him in every interview.
They talked about his curdled love juice. It's like, ugh.
And he's all sweaty looking and greasy and stinky and shit. And the worst, what made it even worse was right during his interview, I had to go to the bathroom. And so I go to the bathroom, and how do you think I smelled from fucking humping lumber all goddamn day? And so I'm like my TV was like had an aroma. I'm watching this dirty, sweaty, stinky fat guy on TV, and I can smell my balls. It was awful.
Well, Candido comes in. Chris Candido comes into and thankfully Candido saves us from the Gene Anderson cam. And pretty much,
doesn't he put it over?
Yes, he's like, stop shaking. He's pretty much like,
stop that
camera around. Stop it.
Dude, I think I was writing something down when I heard him say it, and I was like, oh shit, he put over the Gene Anderson cam.
I was like, Chris, my hero Candido.
He finally did something worth watching. Yeah, that was probably the only thing I remember out of the whole entire promo. That's pretty sad when he just puts over the fact that it's not shaking.
And the promo is just consisting of Candido airing his grievances about his ongoing shenanigans with Louis Spicolli being a pain in his ass. But it's good. Go ahead, Aaron.
This is all, though he does debut the no gimmicks needed thing. I don't think he's done that yet. Because he talks about how I'm not the guy that I used to be. Like, I liked that part of the promo where he was like telling like Spicoli, like, you're used to me. He doesn't come out right out and obviously say skep, but he's like, you're used to me being what I was over there. I'm not that guy anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he's like, does the no gimmicks needed thing. So I thought it was I'm also a big mark for Candido, but I just thought this was a good promo.
My only issue with Candido has always been with his promos is that he can't like he always has to be funny, but then still try to be serious kind of thing. And like it was like, just pick one, because you can be taken seriously. You're good enough to be taken seriously. You don't have to be stupid, with your stupid comedy and stuff like that, which he tries to be, and it's not good. And I'm just like, dude, stop with the trying to be like the funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I've always liked Candido. I've known Candido forever.
The next thing on the show is Hollywood Nova from the BWO against our aforementioned new generation Terry Funk or whatever, Brian Lee, where we get a promo at the beginning.
What was that shitty ring announcer?
I don't know, dude. I thought he was one of the bad crew.
That guy was horrible.
Like one of the bad crew, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't even call him Hollywood Nova. He was just like, from the BWO, Hollywood.
Yep, that's all he
And
did call
then
him was Hollywood.
and then when he was just like announcing Brian Lee, it sounded like he was asking a question if he was from Orlando, Florida.
From
And he was like,
Orlando, Florida.
hailing from Orlando, Florida. It's like, what? This guy sucks.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
From the bad crew, Ron Burgundy. Yeah, I know. I mean, you got to be pretty bad when you get noticed for being the ring announcer. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I
And
don't,
you're
I
like,
don't
man, I
see.
wish Bob Ortiz was here.
Yeah, Gary Michael, Joe McHugh, I wish was there. even then, I wish he was there. Anybody but that horrible looking guy.
Shitty ring announcers always stand out because you know what I mean. Because it's like it's one of those things in wrestling where that guy's during a matchup or during a segment of a wrestling show, that person is only on your TV screen for about 45 seconds to a minute, but they make such an impact with between a good ring announcer and a bad ring announcer. And I always remember the bad ring announcers. Like that guy in the late '95 in the WWF, the interview introduces Buddy Landell as Buddy Rondell. I'll never forget that in my life. Like this guy's fucking terrible, Buddy
And he does it before
Rondell.
and he's not even supposed to introduce Buddy Landell. He's
Yeah,
supposed to
Shane
introduce
Douglas.
Dean
Yeah,
Douglas, but he introduces Buddy Rondell before the match even
and
starts.
then Vince McMahon.
And then Vince McMahon is
audibly
literally like,
goes,
"What is going
"Yeah."
on?"
Vince
Like he
McMahon audibly
out
goes,
loud
"What
says,
is
"What is going on?"
He looked like one of Atlas security guys. That's what was my first impression when I saw him, because he looked like he was tall. You know, he had size to him and shit. He had the beard and everything. And I'm like, oh, what is the Atlas security guy doing in the ring?
Yeah, your ring announcer's supposed to be. He's your what do you call it? The guy in the circus, the ringmaster or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what he is. He controls at least at that time, controlled the tempo of your show and everything like that. It's just like Jesus Christ.
You
And
got
now
that.
it's like it's like WWE, everything they do great. It's like that's the one thing I don't understand. Like it sounds like their announcers are like singing. You know what I mean? Like they have to have these ladies that like enunciate every little. It's like, oh my god, this is
And
bad.
they don't even ring announce in the ring anymore. Like most of the time, they ring announce from the announce table. Because I'm like,
That's the
when I notice the cameraman, like, you know, sometimes you hear the announcement and you don't really, you know, Bob Ortiz is different because Bob Ortiz is so good. But sometimes I'm just watching the match and I'm hearing the announcements and I'm looking at them going, where's the ring announcer? And then they'll just cut to a shot and they'll be standing out by the announce table. Like, this is stupid.
Like I thought that Samantha Irvin lady was annoying, but this other one now, this new lady, she's even worse. I don't know.
Did you say new lady?
Yeah, I don't know what this new lady's name is. Aisha something or whatever. She's the female.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's bad. Annoying.
Well, she's definitely she's not even Rocky Ortiz. Sometimes when Bob wasn't going to be there or whatever, and Rocky would do it. But Rocky was the guy that like took the jackets and all back though. So yes, sometimes he would fill in for Bob. But Bob was the best, man. I used to love when Bob Ortiz would announce me.
Before this match between Hollywood Nova and Brian Lee gets underway, Big Stevie Cool cuts a promo to Brian Lee about how I think this is supposed to allude to the fact that he's alluding to the fact that Brian Lee isn't being a team player as far as Raven's crew of guys goes. Talking about how he eliminated all of them in the Battle Royal, telling Brian Lee he can join the BWO if he wants to join the BWO.
Great career move that would have been.
Yeah.
Imagine him trying to act like them, or you know what I mean? Just no. Hopefully, somebody would have pulled him aside. If he was thinking about it, you know. Like I wouldn't have needed the full week like Cody did. I would have just no, you're stupid.
The fake Undertaker has joined the BWO.
And he still has the hair. I mean, he's already been the fake taker, right?
Yes.
So what's he still got the Undertaker hair for? That I noticed too. I'm like, come on, Brian. because I couldn't remember if he already did it or not. And I'm thinking like he has blonde hair. He stinks.
It would have been funny if he would have been fake Undertaker and with the mullet. Like, this is not a convincing Undertaker at all. Blonde mullet.
The Undertaker.
Wasn't a convincing Undertaker at all with any of it. It was like a bloated, short Undertaker. Like,
he's like, rest in peace.
You hillbillies. Yeah, he said he's short. He's like 6'4". But it just so happens that like Undertaker's like 6'10" or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. It's like whatever. I mean, I know it was Undertaker helping out a buddy, but it's like this was stupid.
Stupid. Yeah, that was kind of stupid. Brian Lee's just stupid. He's another. He's also I can't figure out what I don't like him as more, a babyface or a heel.
At least when he was the babyface. At least when he was the babyface in Smoky Mountain, it was good for Dutch Mantell. Dutch Mantell made fucking fun of him all the time on commentary, and it was great. Like he basically a couple episodes he talked about him basically being retarded. And then he said he was like a school shooter, like he shot up a school. There's all this different shit.
I guess I gotta go back and watch them. Well, I'm sure they would have edited that out by now.
It's all on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. Like you can watch it all on YouTube. There's a couple guys that just have like every episode of it. But yeah, like it says like can't but Brian Lee can't read. It's just all this different shit. It's good stuff.
Yeah, is that because Dutch and him were buddies?
Dutch's run as a color man in Smoky Mountain is one of the underrated color commentator runs of all time. He's so fucking entertaining on that show.
Well, didn't he do some of them by himself? Like, did he always have a sidekick, or wasn't there some? There was some either segments.
No, he had
Down and Dirty with Dutch, but when he was on it, he was with Bob Caudle.
I know he had I know Bob Caudle was with him like majority of the time, but I'm pretty sure that there was a few shows, or at least portions of the shows, where he was doing commentary by himself, and sometimes I always felt like he was just talking to himself, or just trying to like pop himself. You know what I mean? Because he is kind of funny.
No, I think Mantell's fucking hilarious. He's a funny dude.
I haven't heard his show yet though.
I actually haven't either. I've never listened to his podcast either.
He's all right. His host, his guy sucks. I don't. I tried listening to it, but the guy that he's with, I don't like him. And you can tell Dutch is getting a little older too. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but when a guy gets to that age and starts whatever, you need somebody that can lead a guy long enough, and I don't think the guy does a good enough job with it.
I can go back and check it out. But yeah, Dutch should have came in.
I'd rather him be on there with like somebody like Oliver or something like that. But yeah.
Oh, I know where he did commentary by himself a lot too. Was Puerto Rico. That's what I was probably getting it from. All right, yeah, but why didn't Dutch ever come to ECW?
I don't know. That's a good question. Unless he was just being loyal to Cornette. I don't know.
I think that people would have loved Dutch Mantell to come in. I think he would have been over and have Dutch Mantell be in the BWO.
You shoot baby with him.
And instead of having to wear a shirt, he can just shave BWO into his back hair.
back hair world order.
Yeah, that's all. That would have been the first thing I would have thought of if somebody would have mentioned Dutch Mantell to me in ECW. I'd come in, we can shave BWO into his chest.
Well, Brian Lee wins this match with a quick choke slam. Then we get a segment with Killer Kowalski about to cut a promo about his years in wrestling and et cetera, et cetera. And then Brian Lee comes in, and I couldn't tell I couldn't tell if he used the Asiatic spike on Kowalski or was just choking him out. But he essentially chokes out Killer Kowalski.
The Asiatic choke. What did he use? Chopsticks?
Choked him out with his own pudding cup.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was the Asiatic spike. I think he legitimately was just joking him.
Yeah, he was just choking that old bastard.
Because wasn't he? Because I looked at it like he was wringing his neck like a kid. You know, like how you would like ring, like tell your kid to wring your neck kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, he's pretty much wringing Killer Kowalski's neck. That's pretty sad. And I don't know who sold it better. I don't know who sold that spot better, him or Gary Wolf. Because they put like Gary Wolf didn't really have to know how to take that spot. He was just taking it. And Kowalski was probably wondering like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm just getting my neck wrong.
I just wandered into this building.
He was probably telling him the whole time, "You're doing it wrong."
Hey, poop.
You're not doing this nearly boring enough.
This isn't how me and Bruno 160. Oof. Enough.
17-minute rest hold, kid. 17-minute rest hold.
How many times do you think in the locker room he brought up probably going 60 with San Martino? I bet you it came up because I'm used to hearing it from Nikolai. I mean, I've always been used to hearing it from Nikolai. So how often do you think it happened with Kowalski? Because Kowalski probably worked Bruno more.
You think they paid him in pudding?
He probably just did it for the fun.
Pudding in Werther's Originals.
Pork rinds. I could see. He looks like a pork rind eating guy, just sitting around munching on a bag of maybe even barbecue pork rinds.
So after that, the joking can be.
Oh, I know what they gave him. They gave him that deviled ham. You know that shit that them old guys used to eat back.
Back in the can, the ham in a can.
Yeah, it has the actual old devil guy on it. That's what they gave him.
A Hormel, whatever.
It's a circle. It's both a circle and a triangle. I don't know how that.
Yeah, they gave him the deviled ham and a sleeve of crackers, and they're like, "Here you go, buddy."
And he's got the little church key that opens up the can lid.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what they gave him.
Anytime somebody ever needed a gimmick and nobody could find anything, Kowalski like, here. Walk over, he's got the little can opener from his Hormel devil ham. Poor Kowalski taking a beating just because you suck.
He's the can Hambone. He's the can Hambone.
You know he had the old guy pants. You know the ones I'm talking about with like the zipper that's like this fucking long.
Yeah.
And then it's got the thing that like the snap button. Like it's not really a button, it just like it snaps into each other. You know what I'm talking about?
It goes over the pants. Like it doesn't button to button, like part of the pants to part of the pants. It goes overlaps it.
Yeah,
and it has like
the
high waist.
The little metal sleeve thing that goes into the metal like hoop. It's like what is
his belt loop for like 7 inches like long or whatever. Like dude, seriously. Like what are you wearing? Wampum belts? what the fuck kind of belts?
Difficult. Shouldn't be this difficult to put on pants.
The best thing, the craziest thing about those pants is if I go to the store, I never see them. Am I just going to start seeing them when I'm 68?
I think they send them to you.
AARP sends them in a care package.
They send them to
you. Diapers and polyester pants with extra long zippers. And flares at the bottom too. They gotta have the crease flares too. Oh yeah, I'm sure that Kowalski was I'm sure he was dressed on the town, man. I mean, when he went out, I bet he was dapper.
On the back of them, it doesn't say Levi's, it doesn't say Dockers, it just says slacks.
Yeah, no pockets either. Or either if it has a pocket, it's kind of like the front pocket where it's kind of in the pants. So. It doesn't have like the L on it or the Levi's emblem or the Wrangler emblem on it. It's just a little cut in the back of the pants that you can put your ID in. Damn, he's a dresser. I would love to be dressing like that. I ain't too far from it. I'm getting there. Maybe.
I can't wait for the tag team of Dory Funk and Dory Funk Jr. and Killer Kowalski. It's Lemonhead and Canned Hambone.
Oh, I'm sure they were in a all boring Japan tag team tournament together. I guess. Oh, that'd be awesome because there's got to be some footage of them in the '70s or something as a tag team in Japan. And just imagine how glamorous they looked in the '70s. If they're still sporting that look 30-some years later, oh, it had to been glorious looking.
So after this whole segment with
that's my homework after this show's over. By the way, now I'm ready to go on YouTube and look for Killer Kowalski and Dory Funk Jr. matches.
Is Lemonhead the last one? Like of that generation? I think he's the last one, isn't he?
Oh, I mean, he's the last one of the generation before that.
You know what I mean? Like that's still just alive.
Yeah,
sort of alive.
Yeah, he wrestled with Ted DiBiase's father's father. Yeah, he's definitely. Who else could possibly be alive from that? Well, I mean, the Briscoes are dead. I mean, Jack is, but Jerry's not that age yet, right? So it can't be him. So who possibly could be? What's Dory Funk 83? So like, there's very few human beings at all that are 83 years old, much less when you narrow it down to being pro wrestlers. that's gonna be a hard find, Aaron.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's the last one.
I bet he still calls some of his old friends. He doesn't even know that they're not even alive.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy. It is the crazy thing. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up soon. Saturn cuts a promo that's an effective promo based on Brian Lee attacking his.
You know what I think's funny about the promo is they're mad at Brian Lee because he choked out Killer Kowalski.
Mm-hmm.
But if you listen to the promo, like he's like we're coming for you, Brian Lee and Chris Candido. Chris Candido should be like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I wasn't even there. Like,
yeah, he fed Mikey to him. I mean,
he's like, I didn't attack Killer Kowalski. I got Gene Anderson to stop shaking the fucking camera.
Yeah.
You should be thanking me. And you couldn't. I mean, the only reason why the camera shakes for Cronus is so you can see, or Saturn, so you can't see his eye all over the place. Maybe it isn't even the cameraman. Maybe that's how he sees us. that's how the Eliminator. That's why the camera's always shaking on them.
And then we get to end the show. The main event is a brawl, kind of a brawl throughout the Webster Hall here between Raven and the Sandman.
Boy, was it a doozy of a brawl too.
Yeah, they wind up in the BWO locker room. Sandman winds up with a BWO t-shirt on. But I don't have a lot of notes on the match because it's just pretty much them just walking around this place.
It wasn't really wasn't even really a match. It was Raven calling him out because he wanted his belt.
Yeah, and ECW sometimes you can't tell.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, other than when they were at the concession stands, it was like it was actually kind of boring.
It was a walking
boring brawl. It wasn't even like exciting. It was like, this is boring.
And Sandman clearly got that shirt from the concession stand because it still had the creases in it, like in the shoulders and shit, where it was like folded or something. And I'm like, all they did was just like brawl through the locker room, like, so how did he get a shirt on anyway? is the question. But I mean, it was totally a brand new shirt.
And they pretty much just say at about 10 minutes into this thing, Joey's like, we gotta go, and that's it. And that's the end of it. Before we talk about the
is that like the only time in the history of a TV main event match that you wish for David Crockett, Tony? We're out of time. That's the only time you ever wish for David Crockett to work at ECW.
Overall, I thought this episode of the show was fine. Kind of a filler episode, but it served its purpose. the one thing I wanted to mention before you guys get to do your parting words here is there is one guy left that when he sees Dory, he calls him kid.
Oh no!
Fucking Cowboy Bob Ellis is still alive.
Get out of here.
He's like, get her. Hey there, kid.
There's no chance that it's a fact that Bob Ellis is still alive.
No, Cowboy Bob Ellis is 95 years old.
Cowboy Bob Elvis.
Bob Ellis is he's 95 years old. He was born March 15th, 1929, and he's still kicking.
Well, how old is this website?
Oh, he ain't kicking. He ain't kicking anything.
His legs are swinging. Where is he getting this information from?
Wikipedia.
Hell, it can't be updated. What's the last time it was updated? But 2001. Get out of town, kid. That's about right. He's the only person on earth that can call Dory Funk Jr. kid. God, because I think Dory Funk's older than the Pope. Jesus, not the Pope Jesus, but Jesus.
The Pope Jesus. So what did you guys think of this episode of ECW overall as we sign off here for this week's show?
Oh, I thought it was fun. Yeah, it was pretty solid. It was a nice little switch from the arena. Good crowd. Crowd was like seemed to be. I saw my buddy Gary in the crowd one time. Because he must have went up there with Jeff and Axel because that's his buddies. Like they brawled right past him. I thought he was there. I was like, oh, Gary's there, cool. I thought it was a fun show. I had no problems with it at all.
I actually enjoyed the show. There were plenty of things I enjoyed on it. Even the Kowalski stuff. Even though we fucking got a lot of material out of it, was effective. You know, you bring in Saturn's trainer. He's in the arena, and then one of Saturn's rivals beats up his mentor. That's Wrestling 101. We're actually the worst thing about the show was the main event, guys. Raven and Sandman's thing was probably the worst thing about the show, to be honest with you.
Easily was the worst part of the show. Raven's color was terrible. Yeah, at that point, like I was begging for the little box at the bottom of the screen. You know, it tells you when the upcoming show is. I was like, come on, man. Like this is only like 47 minutes. But I'm like, you know, I almost can't finish this because I'm just waiting for this boring walking brawl to just come to an end. Did it end?
It didn't on TV. No, they were like still fighting. And Joey's just like, we gotta go.
I was just looking for my notes.
But in other words, we're gonna have to see it again next week.
Yeah, pretty much. So I guess we're gonna get with the last part of that match for the first half of the show next week. Great. Lucky us. But no Dreamer. So that gave it we saw Dreamer, but he didn't do anything. Yeah, that's the only bad part of the show
is what every fan has ever said when they've seen him in a show. We saw Dreamer, but he didn't do anything.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Pretty good show. I mean, I really wasn't looking for the clock. I was kind of into it. You know, I was waiting to like, oh, this is all right, man. It's going somewhere. It would have been solid B, I guess, for me.
All right. Well, that being said, gentlemen, we will bid our listeners adieu. Let you all know you can, of course, tell your friends, tell your mistress, tell your neighbor about Reliving the Extreme, where you can find us, of course, anywhere you find your podcast apps and on the WNR podcast channel on YouTube. And of course,
I guess I'll save my listener question for the next show then.
Oh yeah, we got into Killer Kowalski and canned hams, and I completely forgot about that. So yeah, we'll put a pin on that and reserve it we'll do it at the beginning of next week's episode so we don't forget.
I'm sorry,
canned
Pete.
Ham Kowalski.
Sorry, Pete from where was he from? J. Brone, Ontario, Canada. His question's gonna have to wait till next week.
We'll see you next week, Pete. We'll start with you. Chad, don't let me forget because I will. And we'll see everybody next week.
He won't let me forget.
As we continue reliving the extreme.